Welcome to the Game Corner, another video game podcast. My name is Harrison. You might know me online as Urbix, and I'm joined by my friend and co-host
Rowan. You might know me as Mocha, and I hate closed sheets so much, but it's something we're gonna have to live with, apparently.
Yeah, I don't wanna
either. Yeah, it is unfortunate, but yeah, I guess I don't know if we're diving into it or not, but yeah, that it really does seem to be something that we're gonna have to learn more and more.
Yeah, well, they keep doing so. Apparently, it's like every 2 weeks they're doing a GC. It seems.
Yeah, so I guess it's like
that's the pattern we're seeing.
Before, global challenges for anybody who isn't up to date, you should be if you're
just tuning in.
Yeah, well, if you're just tuning, it's really hard to not be just tuning in right now. But yeah,
well, I mean, to like the whole Pokemon scene and us. Like, if this is your first episode, welcome.
Yeah,
it's not welcome anyway.
But yeah, anybody who's not aware, if you play competitive Pokemon, you should be. The Global Challenge is basically TPCI, Pokemon Company, Nintendo. I don't even know anymore who is what. Their attempt to make it so that people who can't travel out to like big IRL events can just play online. It's an online competitive event that gives points for you to qualify for Worlds. The big difference, though, is that it's a ladder tour, so it means it's best of one. You just play random people that the game decides for you online, and there's no open team sheets, which has just been the standard for regionals or just any IRL tournament period since Scarlet and Violet started. So yeah, now we're all getting used to this, and the global challenges offer a lot of points.
Closed team sheets, but it was best of 3 before, wasn't it?
It was best of 3. Yeah. So okay. Sorry, I'm saying like Scarlet and Violet has just been exclusively open team sheets and best of 3. Since it started. Right. So yeah, now we're finding out that global challenges are effectively happening every 2 weeks. They announced 3 before 2 before
it even started.
Yeah.
So like they're like, hey, we're setting the precedent right now. It's happening. Also, to answer that quandary, Play Pokemon is a division of TPCI, and Play Pokemon is who does all the organized play stuff. So.
Great. It's a crazy amount of like corporate entities for one video game, but yeah,
4, I think.
Yeah, that is. I think that's a lot.
Yes. No, I agree. Yeah, Creatures, Nintendo, and Pokemon make Pokemon. Oh no, Game Freak. Sorry, Game Freak, Creatures, Nintendo all make Pokemon, and Pokemon itself is its own company. It's really weird. Go look it up.
Yeah, a little wild, but yeah. So both of us only got to play a little bit of the Global Challenge too.
I'll be honest. I went 0-3, and I'm like, I'm done.
You got your backpack. I don't feel like playing. Yeah.
I got my backpack. That's all I needed.
Yeah, the last 2 Global Challenges I've only been able to play the first day, which has been unfortunate. The first one I went 13-2, and this one wasn't as good. It was 10-5, so like acceptable. Like it would have been salvageable if I got to play the rest, but I was unfortunately traveling.
I was also traveling.
Yeah. So. But the one thing I've really realized during this is that surprise factor is a really good thing to have. I've been playing the most boring, bog standard, pala balance stuff you could think of.
You have to. You can play pala balance or a good team or whatever, and be a good player and succeed in these things, but it is a lot easier to cheese.
Yeah, I felt really good every time I got to better player someone. Like, that was nice. I think the only tech, quote unquote, I had was Howl, but like Howl is almost standard at this point. So like,
yeah, that's tech, yes, but I agree.
Yeah,
it's pretty standard.
Yeah, so like, I've been starting to explore things for Global Challenge 3, like in a little over a week from when we're recording. I guess it'll be a little over a week from when we release as well. Yeah, so like. It's interesting, right? Because you got to strike that balance. There's also just the stamina, I'm going to say. It's ridiculous to say that for a video game, but 45 games of Pokemon is actually a lot.
Yeah, don't sell yourself short. Like, we talked about it for regionals and in-person events and all these long sessions of playing this game. Like, you need mental endurance.
Yeah, you can at least pace yourself with these online events, right? Like, you're at home, I'm like, I've got my coffee, I've got my homemade meal, I'm like playing in my underwear on my couch, like it's all very nice, but like can't really do that in a real
I think
IRL
if
event. I may
you-
be kicked out.
If you bring your homemade meal and sit in your chair
Just
and eat
take
it in
off
your
the pants,
underwear,
yeah.
they,
They may frown on that. Yeah,
that's how you like mind game outplay or be like, I'm gonna freak you
just
the heck out.
That's established dominance. I think is how that goes. Yeah, no, but like
Stand up and T pose.
it is very like it is nice. You get to relax, but 45 games is 45 games. If like, you got to think that on average they're going to last 10 minutes because the timer's 20, give or take, right? So like, yeah, and I had people play me to time because that pallet balance kind of. I didn't even really blame them for it, right? Like I was healing up my own stuff with pollen puff and pivoting every turn, right? Like it's just how my team plays. But
no, pallet balance is not high offense fast, right?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, this is a really, really good opportunity for us to mention the Battle Corner, which if you want that organized best of 3 practice, but don't want to cram it all into one day, we have the Battle Corner, which is currently going on. But look out for the signups.
Yeah.
Look out for signups for the next one.
Unfortunately, I did I ended up missing our own tournament this time around. I wanted to. I realized we didn't do it last week, and I feel kind of lame for doing this now because I ended up winning it. But like, shout out to Poppy Cantan for. I just realized I've only ever called him Poppy in real life, so I'm not exactly sure how this, but it's Cantan or anyway, it doesn't matter.
Poppy.
Like, He's Poppy, who is strangely like 4 different people at the Charlotte Regionals. I don't know how that happened, but
I can't believe we got to meet Poppy Canton at Charlotte.
Like at least 4 or 5 times, yeah.
Several, my goodness.
It looked different each time. I don't know how that happened, but yeah.
Disguise.
Shout out to Poppy. He made finals of the Battle Corner. Unfortunately, I continued the tradition that Cap started. Of winning our own tournament, which is kind of lame, but there was no cash prize this time around, so I didn't feel too bad about it.
Yes, you have to. One of these days, not one of us will win. Having 3 of us in the tournament,
it makes the odds like surprisingly decent. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you're missing this one. It's good.
It did feel good to pull out the series. Like I every time a new format starts. And I like go back to playing the old format. I'm like, oh my god, I remember all the matchups. I know how to play this. This is so great, and it's over.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's
I forgot that was.
It was Series 2. Yeah,
Series B.
Made me Regulation B.
Regulation 2, Series B. Say it right.
Yeah, it's God, yeah, it felt good to Terra Water Wave Crash things in the rain, but
oh goodness, the fact that like. What Surf Dozo is going around and was a menace during the GC.
Yeah,
it brings a tear to my eye.
So yeah, I guess we don't really have an established topic this week except for just the global challenge in general.
Yes.
So I think we touched on this a bit for EUIC because it made results, but anybody who wasn't aware of this set, it was a team that we shouted them out last time. It's fine. Whoever built it, you were brilliant and evil.
Well, no. What the brilliant part about it too, which I might be cutting off, you're saying the same exact thing. It is straight 252 sets. Like there's no fancy calcs or anything. It's like
it's just burr. This person came up with one amazing idea, which was that you can take a Dondozo and make it mixed, mostly special, and just give it surf. Terra Water, Life Orb, and put it in the rain, and max speed, and just murder things with Surf. And I think this is... Everybody knows what this is now, right? Like, if you see Pelipper and Dondozo Tatsugiri on the same team, you know what's coming your way at this point. But that doesn't necessarily mean you can stop it. I have, like... game planned this, and I can beat it on ladder. I think if I'm playing a team I'm comfortable with, I think I win more than I lose against it, but it's never a stomp, even though I know exactly what buttons they're going to press.
Pablo or Raldo?
Yes, they were... I watched them dismantle Aaron Zhang on stream with this team, and like one of the games there was some RNG in their favor, but it wasn't overwhelming. I think they still win those games even without the RNG, and game 2 was just a straight stomp.
It is baffling.
This team it's just a straight up gimmick, and that doesn't mean you can stop it. You could literally, they could turn their switch around, show you the buttons they're clicking, and you could still lose to it.
Yeah, it's wild how how that's even possible, right? Like, you're not exaggerating when you say that, and it just works.
Yeah, which means it's a fantastic team for the Global Challenge because you have, like, some people will see it coming and may still have trouble stopping it, but a lot of people who play this game are not as like sweaty and weird about it as we are, and they're not watching
That's one
every
way
week.
to put it.
They're not watching every weekend tournament. They didn't see this random gimmick. They see Dozo and they think it's going to do Dozo things, and all of a sudden it attacks you on the special side and just murders you, and that's it. Like, if you take a double KO on turn 1 from this nonsense, it's just over. You lose. That's it. That's the end of the game. I'm sorry. Even if you like are able to whittle down the Dozo after that, you've still lost. Yeah, it's kind of wild.
It is. I need to play it. I need to guide this team and play it. I haven't done that yet.
So I think if you are looking to do well in the Global Challenge, I think you need to find something a little like this. I mean, this is an extreme case, right? Not everybody's gonna be able to strike gold on a team like that. But the real thing is you need to find a team that strikes a balance that is not too slow and methodical. Like, if you want to play Pala Balance for 45 games and pivot in and out and manage your intimidates and also manage the fact that you have no idea what gimmicks your opponent's bringing,
more power to you.
More power to you. You are an amazing player if you manage to pull that off and actually plays well. But at the same time, at least in my opinion, you don't want to go too fast either, because like, if you go hard hyper, like, I think people discredit hyper offense a lot. It's a very, very difficult archetype to play really well.
Oh, yeah, you have
and if you miss target once, you lose. That's it. Like, oh, I double targeted a protect, and now my super frail glass cannons, one of them's dead, and I also probably just lose here. So you need to find that team that's like unexpected things, strikes the balance between too fast and too slow, and like you also know all your matchups with. Like,
it's relatively easy to pilot.
Yeah. Because you're playing it for 45 games. So yeah, I think this is like a very different skill set than what is being selected for in all our best of 3 weekend events.
Yeah, okay, so let's break that down, right? So we have every 2 weeks for the foreseeable future, probably until, I would guess, 2 weeks before Worlds, right? Like, they're not going to have a GC right before Worlds. It'll be 2 to 3 weeks, however the math works out. I'm not looking at a calendar to tell you. But presuming every 2 weeks is the pattern, they're going to have half a dozen GCs where you can get points. You can get championship points. You can get your invite to Worlds. Now, or get part of it, I guess, really. You can't get the whole thing. I don't.
It is very cool. I love how accessible it's making. I just wish it wasn't this.
It makes it accessible, but you're practicing the wrong format. And which, to your point, you just said, like, it takes different skills. It's a different game, really, right? Like,
not to discredit the people who are doing well in the GC, it is difficult. Like,
no, not taking anything away from people who are doing well, because, like, you have people who are good players doing well, playing whatever, gimmicks or not, doing well and getting points. You have people who are not used to best of 3 open team sheets, also doing well, right? Like, you have both sides of the field here. And I feel like if you got the maximum number, you can only get like the best 2 of your finishes, I think, counts.
Yeah.
So
but that means you could get a whole World's invite if you win 2 of them. It's 160 points for first place.
Oh, it's 160. Okay, yeah. So you can get your whole invite.
You got to win the whole thing twice, so unlikely. But the point is that there's a lot of points on the line for this, even though it's only your best 2.
Yeah. So let's say someone does that, and they're like, "Cool, I'm gonna go to Worlds," and you continue to practice GCs, like, you're gonna have a rough time at Worlds.
It really is creating a bit of a problem, in my opinion, because, like, so think about also Showdown. I've been kind of whining about this for a bit, but it's mostly just been whining because, so on Showdown, the ladder gives you the option to do open team sheets, but it's opt-in rather than opt-out. So, like, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. Like, both people have to want to do open team sheets for it to be open team sheets. So it's a little annoying when you play someone who doesn't want to and you do, and you're trying to prep for a tournament. And it was especially annoying because if people deny sheets, then they're really just doing it to get a win on ladder, which ultimately means nothing, right?
Yep.
But now I can't really blame anybody who denies open sheets because they are practicing for a real event that has real points on the line, and like, you do you. I've denied sheets a few times trying to prep for this stuff, like, which I normally would never do. So, like, we now have the main ladder doesn't really, like, most of the time when you play ladder on Showdown, you are not preparing for the format that Worlds will be in, the format that every major tournament that you have to pay hundreds of dollars out of pocket to fly to and stay in a hotel to attend.
Yep.
There's no reliable way to practice that format now, apart from, like, taking time out of your day to join grassroots tournaments. Shout out to the Battle Corner. Like, what?
Yeah,
I would say if you're about to travel, you really should take some time to search out some Discords with these tournaments and join them, because that's the only way you're going to get meaningful practice now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful, like, even just in our small community of people we actually know. We have, like, us, Pokesports, Literate Lessons. They all do.
Victory Road's doing one this weekend too, I believe.
Is it this weekend?
I'm gonna attempt to do it, but that's a weekend long event as opposed to what we do,
Right.
which is more like work around your schedule.
But I mean, different groups, all these different groups do some sort of different format for their events, right? We're just happen to be doing the most lackadaisical of anyone we know, which is great.
Yeah,
if that's what you need and want, right? Like, we still have.
Yeah, I think even
organized.
Pokesports has accelerated it to all be on a week.
Yes, yeah. There's this fast. So we shout out to them. We did in fact just copy their format for a tournament, and
then they changed it. Now it's ours because they've gone to something new.
That's right. Ours now. But yeah, it's interesting that. So you were just talking about, like, the showdown ladders. Like, should there be an open and closed team sheet ladder? Right.
No,
That is a discussion that has been out forever.
That's the ideal world. I don't want to. I don't know how much the people that I talk to value their privacy, so I won't say who it is, but I am in contact with some of the people who are responsible for those decisions, and basically what I got was that there literally aren't enough players to maintain 2 active ladders of VGC. At least depending how they split, right? Like, nobody's really sure what percentage of players would play on each ladder, right? And it would probably be a lot of people would probably do both, because you want to prep for VC and this.
Right. I think now, with the GCs being a very reoccurring event, then it makes sense that you'd have people wanting to practice both, right? Like, you kind of need it.
Yeah, 100%. I'm trying some stuff that I would normally never play. Just like, God, maybe this is good in closed team sheet. I don't even know. Like, that part of my brain that, like, hides evil little tech on teams is mostly dead now. That was something I did a lot in Sword and Shield, because it was a good idea.
Team building skill.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
For open team sheets and closed team sheets, trying to find a balance of what works really well, even if your opponent knows.
Running Stealth Rocks Garganackle at this point, like, I don't. Assault. You take damage if you stay in. You take damage if you switch out. What are you gonna do?
Set up all the entry hazards. Stealth rocks.
You know, Ting Lu gets spikes and reduces the special damage that Garg takes. So you set up Stealth Rock and spikes, and then Salt Cure, and then Ting Lu can, if you don't want them to switch, Ting Lu can Sand Tomb them in. Yeah,
yep.
And then they keep taking the Salt Cure damage.
Sand Tomb lasts what, like 5 turns, 4 turns, something like that?
I think it's 2. It's like Fire Spin, right? It's random 2 to 5, something like that. That's how it was back in the day. I actually have no idea. That is what I remember from Gen 1.
When you said that rang a very loud bell in my head. So
like literal core memory of me as a child being like, why would I ever use this? Fire Blast does more damage.
Fast forward to now, and you're like, I need to use this.
I wonder what would happen if someone went up to, like, 8-year-old Rowan playing blue version on a Game Boy Pocket and was like, hey, when you're 31 years old, you're going to use that move.
Yeah, right? Like, oh my goodness. Like, walking up to...
An 8-year-old Rowan's like, oh no, I'm going to be playing Pokemon when I'm 30.
I think if you walked up to, whatever, 8-year-old... 6-year-old Harrison and be like, hey, that anime you're watching on Saturday morning or whatever, yeah, you can be playing that video game competitively when you're 30. And I'll be like, 30-year-old me is so cool.
There's some phase in life where I think I'd be really sad about hearing that news, but anyway, it's fine.
It was my teenage years.
We're having fun now.
Yeah. No, I think if you also told 8-year-old 6-year-old, whatever, Harrison, you'll also make a podcast about competitive Pokemon.
What's a podcast?
He'd be like, what's a podcast?
But yeah, no, if nothing else, it has been really fun to just try a lot of different stuff. Like, I don't know how I've never really run Scissor this whole generation, but it turns out...
I'm trying to make Scissor... No, wait. I brought Scissor to the GC because I was really excited to try it on a rain team because I like rain teams.
I take it that didn't go well based on what you told me, but...
No.
Scissor Chen Pao is actually pretty evil. And having a mon that just priority deletes the most used mon in the game, the mon with 70% usage, pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah, I need to steal a better team that has Scissor on it. Because, it did not go well for the GC.
I've got something for you if you want it, but...
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the... I mean, so we have the GCs coming up. Obviously, we just had one this past weekend. We have one in 2 weekends. My goodness. I just had the schedule up. There it is.
Yeah, so we do have some regionals coming up, but this is probably the biggest lull that we've had
in quite a while.
In Pokemon events for a bit now, yeah. So the last event was in Fort Wayne, was March 31st, April 2nd, and the next event is not till May 5th in Portland.
Well, we also had EUIC between that.
Right, yeah. I'm looking at the regional schedule, so that totally makes sense. And I believe there is a Latin American event or two.
They just announced like 3 Latin American events, I think, which is pretty exciting because we know that region has been...
There's one in Sao Paulo
underserved.
In May.
May 6th
and then Hartford is that we are going to is not till the end of May 19th.
Middle of May.
Yeah.
That's going to be so hard to prep for.
It's going to be difficult, yeah. And the format
Tears
will
of the Kingdom
evolve.
Comes out a week before.
You better have your team before then.
Yeah.
I think we've already talked about it, but we are probably going to have our first non-Pokemon episode ever when that game comes out, because
fully non-Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. Their games are good, and it makes VGC, focusing on VGC, very difficult for me. I have so many games I want to play.
I'm the kind of guy who will hyperfixate on like the game that I'm really into, but every so often a single player thing comes out. It's like, no, I need to take some time away from my weird obsessions and play this thing. Like, Tears of the Kingdom is going to be good. Pikmin 4 is my personal, like, just weird one that I like, but I don't know that everybody else is going to be super into. There's a reason it took them a decade to make it, because probably was very little demand.
I will be honest. I'm excited to see it, and then maybe
it's always a very pretty game too. Yeah.
Yes, 3 was pretty, but I bounced off real. I think we said this last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever. I bounced off 3 real hard because I was like, okay.
It was a little too simple. Yeah, like they started dumbing, because the first Pikmin that I fell in love with, nobody else did, because it was like stressful time management. If you didn't complete the game in 30 in-game days, your character just died. And you had to start the whole thing over again. And I found that really compelling in middle school, and apparently no one else did.
You're a weird kid.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I know it's Nintendo's RTS in the same vein that like Splatoon is Nintendo's FPS
shooter.
game,
Yeah, it's a
right?
little odd. It's not StarCraft. It is not, but
or you have the fun like ARMS is also Nintendo's
fighting
weird
game?
FPS fighting game.
Smash is their fighting game, though.
Smash is their fighting game, yes. But they're like, what if guns but arms? But yeah. There you go. There's a sneak peek to the non-Pokemon episode. Yeah, we're in a lull for Pokemon. I know personally, with just some personal life stuff going on and traveling and just the distance between events that I'm going to, I have been taking a short break-ish from Pokemon. I have not been grinding Showdown as much as I should be. I did the GCs, I did laddering, right? Like I got to Master Ball on a cart, I did all that stuff, but like I've really minimized my VGC practice and exposure, shame on me. But it helps prevent burnout, I get to play other games.
Exactly. I think that's one of those things that people should be able to do, right? Like the game's not going anywhere. It's not a sport. There's no physical component to this. It's not even a fighting game or a shooter or an RTS or whatever. Like, your mechanical skills aren't going anywhere. You're not going to lose your edge playing Pokemon. Plenty of people literally didn't play Sword and Shield, came back and started winning tournaments in Scarlet and Violet. Like, you can take a break from this game, and you will take one day to get back into it, and that'll just be that. So don't be afraid to burn out on this.
I am in the middle of that one day right now. I feel like I'm like I gotta ramp back up, and then I'll be there. It's true. Like you will jump back on that horse real fast, right? But I'm like, I don't know. There's a weird like, I want to. And then, like, on the other shoulder, I don't want to, like, little angel and devil or whatever.
The later you do it in a format, probably the better, actually. So, like, this is...
I am looking forward to finding, like, to diving back in, finding teams, seeing what's going on, seeing where the meta is, having you and Sheldon tell me all about it so I can just steal your guys' intel, and then...
Sheldon's a very busy man these days, too, actually, so...
Oh, yeah, he's not here, is he? Whoops. No, that's true. So it's up to you.
Yeah, it's all on me. I can't take a break apparently.
Well, I mean, if you take a break, it takes a day to get back in. So
yeah, but then you don't have any teams to copy. So
oh, that's right. No, I mean there's.
Yeah, no, but I do mean that like it's a lot easier to jump back on the horse when the meta is established, and you can just say like, okay, this is one of the archetypes. I just need to learn how this matches up with other things, and then go to town. Right.
I mean, I know, like, spoilers, I'm going to find a rain team that I like and click with that works in, well, it's not Surf Dozo, but that works in this format, and that's going to be my starting point.
Yeah.
And maybe ending point.
Rain is one of those interesting archetypes where, like, I thought it was dead in Series 2. Like, it was amazing in Series 1. I was really upset that I discovered it too late, and then Series 1 ended after a month. And then Series 2 came around, and I'm like, oh god, Bundle is everywhere. Pelipper's useless. Why am I doing this? And then Gavin Michaels won OCIC with Rain. It's like, okay, it's actually good. Turns out I just was not using it right. And I have had exactly the same thoughts about Rain this format in Reg C. I'm just like, everything kills Pelipper. Everything just murders it dead. There's like Fluttermane is on every team. Like there's Manual Sun. Like people are putting Sunny Day on Murkrow. Why? But I do think that someone will find a way around it.
Rain Dance on Murkrow.
That's reasonable, honestly.
And a punching glove on Palafin.
Now you're getting too crazy. Yeah, I actually have loved seeing Murkrow come back into relevance. Like
it's shocking to me.
It was the Mon in Series
1,
and then it just fell off a cliff in Series 2, and somehow it's come back in Reg C. I think just the ability to do something like Talonflame was just the premier tailwind setter, and there was no discussing that anymore. But like Priority Sunny Day is actually really nice now because you get to buff Chi-Yu, you get to activate Photosynthesis on Fluttermane and Great Tusk, and yeah, it's pretty scary now. Like you can and just the built-in Dozo counter, because Dozo builds are just getting so weird that like your one-off counter to it may not work.
Yeah,
but you know what will always work is Priority Haze.
Yeah, that's very true. You can't block Haze.
Which also synergizes with Chi-Yu Overheat.
And
Goldengo,
Overheat.
Goldengo's kind of fallen off,
Yeah, it makes me really sad. I really liked Goldengo.
It has a place. Paul Ruiz made top 8 with it, so like you can absolutely use it, but it's not as ubiquitous. It's definitely not as ubiquitous as it was in Series 1, but I think it's even fallen off compared to Series 2.
Sure. Yeah. Series 2 was still...
It was still pretty
prevalent.
Good. Yeah.
It's just that
your team
spot was
really
taken over by Fluttermane.
Yeah. The like Terra Water Goldengo is actually one of the best answers into Palance, in my opinion. Like,
I can see that.
Especially like it's like the bulky lefty spreads.
Bulky lefties that has Thunderbolt.
You can do Thunderbolt. I have seen that. Yeah, that's usually the spec sets, but I have seen it even on non-spec sets these days because of Palance. But like, if you just do Terra Water standard, Terra Water leftovers standard, make it Rain Shadow Ball, Nasty Plot Protect, put it next to Amoonguss. So you have redirection and just Spore Pressure, and you set up and start blasting. Like, Palafin is not hurting you when you're Terra Water. Arcanine is not hurting you when you're Terra Water. Amoonguss can't touch you when you have your just broken ability. And Amoonguss redirects away Fluttermane, so you can nuke that too.
So like, there's 2 of my next team.
There you go. Yeah. No,
You've convinced me.
It's really good. I think, and then Paul Ruiz ran that a lot. Like instead of Amoonguss, he did it with support mouse hold and then made it a mouse ape team.
Right.
And it's really good. But as it turns out, that team hard loses to Surf Dozo. Because you know that Terra Water boosting your defenses? Surf Dozo actually still almost Okos you.
That upsets me greatly.
Yeah, and it's a water type, so and has +2 special defense, so it's still going to tank your hit.
Yep.
It's upsetting.
Yeah, it is. It's upsetting to say the least.
I would be interested. What if you built a bot that did nothing but do the Surf Dozo lead and just click Surf until it went down? And I would love to see how that bot would do in the GC.
Okay, so I've had this like pet project in the back of my head. You and I, if we really wanted to do it and found more time in the day, could probably do this. But like machine learning, train a bot to play Showdown.
I'm almost positive someone's done this before. It's not as easy as you'd think.
Oh, I know it's not easy. I'm saying we could do it, and I have been tempted to, and I think it would be terrible. It'd be very hard to do.
Yeah, I think Pokemon is a game that machine learning could actually solve. Solve is a strong word, right? Because there's so much like reading involved. Like, but if it can win at chess, it can definitely win at this. At least a positive percentage of the time.
Hold on, that's not necessarily true, because like chess. Okay,
chess has a limited game space, but so does Pokemon.
Pokemon's limited game space is way bigger than chess, right? Like a computer can understand every possible chess board state.
We might be we are just on a wild tangent now, but
that's fine. This is a podcast. Welcome.
For a single 6v6 match. Does a single 6v6 match in Pokemon have a larger game space than a chess match?
Absolutely. Because of HP, randomness in attacks, EV spreads, IV spreads, and then moves, right? So like I think I would venture to say
chess can be brute forced is the thing.
Yes, Pokemon much easier.
Pokemon cannot. There's a large difference between like machine learning stochastic play versus I have literally plotted out every possible move and I can just follow a flowchart and win.
Yes.
Which like the old school chess bots did that.
Yes.
Whereas the bots that win and Go in StarCraft today have randomness baked into them. And it'd be cool.
It's a cool thought. It's a really cool thought.
Did this in my master's. I don't really want to do it again. I'll be honest with you.
So you have experience. All right, perfect. We'll talk offline.
Yeah, but I am finally starting to port my Replay Genie app over to iOS. I have some spare time with work these days, so
nice.
Will be coming up.
Okay, wait, no, one more thing back to chess. I think I would venture to say that in a game of chess, not in any given option, because that obviously changes with how many pieces you have, but there are potentially more moves you can make in a turn, more options you can make in a turn in chess.
There's so many more, yeah.
Than you can make in Pokemon.
Any piece, like some pieces,
only have a
couple. Any piece could move, and a lot of pieces have more than 4 potential moves. Right,
but does that count in doubles where you have each Pokemon can do a thing? Each Pokemon can do 1 or 4 moves? Could one of them could Terra? One of them can switch out. Both of them switch out.
The number of potential moves is larger in Pokemon, right? Because you have 4 moves on either Mon, and then either Mon could switch as well.
So that's
16 That's 16 potential things if you have no switches.
16 no switches.
So it's just if you count switching as another move, so it's 25 potential moves each turn. Actually, I don't actually care. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not doing this.
No, yeah, it was a fun 30 seconds of thought, and then it got really stale really fast.
Someone who was very dedicated to this could do it, and
someone who's really good at combinatorics.
And they would the combinatorics, sure, but someone who's really good ML could put this together and they would ruin our hobby.
Yes.
So let's just not
not
pull on the thread.
Or we can ruin our own hobby.
ChatGPT is very bad at Pokemon still. I have tried that. So
Becca asked it to make a team. ChatGPT.
It gave you a Gen 8 team.
It gave a Gen 8 team,
Yeah,
but like the reasoning behind it was like spot on, which is very cool. But still, like just a generic like easy team.
I could also put Incineroar.
Yes, it did have Incineroar. But yeah, it was Gen 8, which is really funny. Whatever. Technology is cool. It's also dangerous, but that's a different story. That's for a different podcast. Do we have anything else, Pokemon?
I gotta be honest. I think this is a pretty short week.
It's a short week, y'all. Yeah. Thanks for hanging in through our fun tangents. It is a short week. Maybe we'll have something to talk about in 2 weeks after some events, a GC and a regional.
Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
I was gonna say, so I guess we're reaching the end of this. So I have been playing in the Malamar games. I got to play against Sierra Dawn this past week. By the time I'm shooting to have my video for it up by the time this podcast goes up Thursday. But
Excellent.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'm actually pretty happy with the gimmick I managed to pull off this week. So
what was the theme for this one?
It was monotype, and I
That's
ran dark because I think dark is probably one of the more flexible monotypes this gen.
Ooh.
And also because Dondozo is possible in monotype because water, right? So so having Murkrow Haze on there was just like easy answer in case they bring it.
I see. Fair points.
Yeah. But hint, I got him on up to +6.
Cool. That means you didn't click Haze.
I did not click Haze that game, no.
At least, yeah, that game, right?
Yeah, no, there's some neat stuff. You could actually do the surf. I was very tempted to run the Surf Dozo thing.
I know you were. We were talking about it beforehand, and you were like, "Oh, do I do this?"
I was like, Sierra was probably commentating that match. Like, she's got to know.
Oh, good point. She just stole it. What type did she run?
She ran Steel. So
Okay,
I didn't have
Dozo.
to worry about it. Our King Gambit's kind of like looking across like
Right. I was gonna say both. You had King Gambit. That was a pretty easy pick.
Yeah, very good mon. But
Orthworm?
There
she have an Orthworm?
Could have been an Orthworm. There was no Orthworm to my
okay.
knowledge. It definitely
Sad.
wasn't brought anyway. Yeah,
Okay.
but Orthworm would have been cute for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. It turns out King Gambit's very good. It's not resist +6 good though. So
Not much is, to be fair. Okay, well, I believe it is time for our only pseudo-recurring segment on this podcast.
is it the closing?
Another video game. Have you been playing another video game at all? Actually, you always have an answer for this in your back pocket, but you've yet to say it. But
Are we just talking about my MMO? Like I just played too much Guild Wars.
You played way too much Guild Wars. You can always.
I gotta tell
pull
you,
it out.
I haven't even played that since last time. I traveled. The game I've been playing for the past week was helping my mom move. So like, I've been lifting boxes. That's about it. It's not a fun video game. I don't recommend it.
But there's a video game about moving, and I can't remember the name of it right now.
Oh, I've played it. It's like
It's like an Overcooked style, like
yes, like you have to work together, and you mostly just start yelling at each other, and it'll test your relationships. It's very Mario Party on steroids type of thing.
I can't remember what it's called it for the life of me. We'll say you were playing that game. How did your mom's move go?
There's a lot of boxes. Yeah.
That tracks.
Yeah, not great. No, the game on my list right now is I need to finish. I also didn't actually finish Pikmin 3. I played through like half of it and did not actually finish the game. So there's something about it that didn't grasp me the way that the last two did. Yeah, but I do want to kill it before 4 comes out. So I'm going to do that. I think
Pikmin 3 was also my
answer.
first Pikmin.
Oh, really? Okay.
I did not play 1 or 2.
You don't have the nostalgia. You're not blinded by it.
I liked the concept of the game. I think it's a cute looking game. It's a cool franchise that Nintendo has. I wanted to like it, but then I got it and I was like, it didn't click. bounced off of it. Maybe when I see some stuff from 4, I'll be curious enough to buy it and try. But
I'm telling you, try 1.
I'll find one somewhere.
The game. I mean, sail the high seas. Try 1. Your phone can run it these days.
That's probably true.
It's there's something about the GameCube that is like aged weirdly well for something from 2001.
I'm sure I can emulate it on ye old Steam Deck.
Oh, the Steam Deck, absolutely,
Yeah. There's plenty of stuff online for that.
Yeah, it has that like old school brutality of in terms of difficulty of games. It's just like, oh, did you have an army of 100 Pikmin? They just died. You better turn it off and start again.
That sounds fun.
All right, maybe you're not maybe you're not the video game masochist kind of person, but
I mean, it depends on the game.
You played Elden Ring. What are you doing? Like,
I did play Elden Ring. I did not finish Elden Ring. I only got so far into Elden Ring, and then it's not even that I bounced off Elden Ring. I just stopped playing. I do want to go back, but I think at this point I'd have to just start again and try.
That's the worst thing with difficult games. If you don't kill them in one sitting, it's you're not finishing it ever, because you're gonna come back and you'll have forgotten how to play, and it's just gonna kick your ass. The
past like 2 years of gaming, like before we started doing like a lot of Pokemon and the Game Corner, most of my gaming, when I did it on stream, I was like, I must play this game on stream, and then I didn't do it off stream, and then I do stream something else, and then continue something else. I'm like, oh, I don't
think anyone is like super concerned with the continuity on your stream, right?
Not at all. I was. It's dumb.
Play what you want when you want and put it on stream. Like, it's like, hey
I
guys,
know.
I beat 3 levels since last time. Don't worry about it.
I know this now. And I will do it eventually when I get back to streaming. Maybe actually, hold. This week I can stream. Yeah, my schedule works out. I'll stream something this week. My other video game is Advance Wars came out. And that hits a nostalgia spot for me, because I played those on the Game Boy.
Game Boy Advance, right?
Yeah, Game Boy Advance.
Yeah. I never, that was one of the ones I didn't get into, but yeah.
And so
that was big back then.
I legit forgot there was actually 4 games in this franchise, because they had 2 on the DS that I think I actually played. I'm not sure. But I was like really excited. I'm like, oh, the whole franchise is out. Is it being remade? And then it wasn't. I'm like, that's only half the franchise. So I'm really excited for it. I'm not that far, because it came out and then we went traveling. But I'm every time that I'm not playing. Every time I'm playing a game, right now it's probably Advance Wars. So
nice.
It's fun. It's so cute too. Like, for a war game, which has been delayed because of a real war. It's a cute game.
Yeah, I think the other one on my list right now is the Metroid Prime remake.
Oh, the Prime! I've heard really good things. I mean, did not pick it up.
Prime 1 was a really good game, and this is that, but pretty.
Remade from the ground up is pretty. And runs really well. Like,
yeah, the game is exactly the same. Like, literally nothing has changed mechanically, which is so cool. Apart from the second joystick, because I got to tell you, playing a first-person shooter before Halo came out was actually
terrible.
Pain, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I was never a Halo guy, but you gotta like respect that there's like, what if we use the other stick to move to aim? This is wild.
What if we used everything we can in the console?
Yeah. So adding that was definitely nice. Metroid is like, it's not niche, but I feel like it just gets overlooked by a lot of folks. I don't know. Oh
yeah, no, I think it is. Metroid is a franchise that I feel wasn't done dirty by Nintendo, but like the pacing that came out and the popularity it came out to was not Mario or Pokemon.
Right. Yeah.
I can also tie Advance Wars back to Pokemon to be more on topic for this game. I mean, for this podcast. One of the voice actresses for one of the characters in Advance Wars is Ash Ketchum, Victoria Taylor.
Huh. And that's the new Ash Ketchum, not
the new one. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Not the one who got to do it for like a year or two.
Not Indigo League.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the only Ash's voice I know, is the Indigo League one, who hasn't been Ash for 99% of the time Ash has been a thing.
That's pretty funny, actually. That's a good point. No, I heard the voice lines. I was like, this sounds so familiar. This is very, very clearly like a female voice actress doing this young male, right?
Right.
And I'm like, who is this? And I saw on Twitter, it's like, that's so cool. So, anyway, There's my tie-in.
Okay, cool. That's still a Pokemon fan podcast.
It's still Pokemon, yeah. It all comes back to Pokemon, man. And speaking of coming back to Pokemon, see if I can make this work.
I'm really interested to see how like.
Yeah, I jumped off that ledge and did not have a bungee.
Yeah, this is going to be quite an asshole
parachute.
for pulling you back in. Yeah.
Speaking of Pokemon, we are a Pokemon podcast, and we do things with Pokemon. So if you want to support that, come Patreon's down below. Our Discord's down below. We have the Battle Corner is currently going on. It's going to be a pretty quick turnaround for this one because I'm going to try and kind of push it a little more than last time, and we have a small audience for that.
It's a smaller one this time, yeah.
So I mean, it makes sense with kind of the slowness of everything else going on. So look forward to announcements on that. Probably next week we'll have an idea of when signups for the next one will be. So I'd like to say thank you to RobKTA and Game Chops for the use of our theme song Goldenrod Game Corner off the Ultraball album. I've been Harrison. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at RoixN. I'll be streaming something sometime this week. Look forward to it. I tweet when I do that, or it's on Discord too. Because we don't know how long Twitter's gonna be around, baby. Rowan, who are you?
I was waiting for that one. I am Rowan. You can find me on YouTube, Rowan Hall, Twitter, Rowan W Hall. Like I said, I will have the next Malamar match up against Sierra pretty soon, and then I am playing against Strider with 2 eyes this week in a weakness policy only format.
Wait, what? Every Pokemon has to have a weakness?
Holding a weakness policy. Yeah, we have to play in like the anything goes format because the BGC one won't allow it. Yeah, it's Marcus Dion. You may know them. They place well in literally every regional they go to. So yeah, really good player. But I think I've already secured playoffs actually. So I'm just gonna have fun with it. So yeah, no, come check out my content. It's I'm not making a ton, but I do churn it out every week or two. So yeah, come take a look.
Yeah, I need to finish videos. But all of our stuff is down below. You can find it there in the link tree. The difference between Rowan, who are you, and Rowan is I do Rowan, who are you on purpose. Rowan. I do
Rowan on purpose a lot now, actually. Now.
We've been the Game Corner. You can find us Twitter.com at the Game Corner at Game Corner VGC. That's where we are on Twitter. On Discord down below. Everything's in that link tree. Just go click down below. It's there. Or if you're listening on Spotify, it's in the show notes because there's not really a down below. However that works. And you can find us next week bumbling about some topic we don't know what it's going to be because it's still a slow season for VGC, but we'll make it work and maybe we'll have Sheldon. Who knows?
We could do the final death of the podcast and start doing tier lists.
And until next time, press start and game on. Bye.
Are you gonna have the whole buy there in the?
No, I cut that off.
You're gonna cut yourself off midway through. I like that better.
No. I could. Hold on. I can do a funky crossfade between because
replace it with Cricketune. I don't know.
At the end of the podcast, which you don't know because you didn't listen to the podcast, our podcast, my edits of the podcast, you listen to it live. I fade in the outro music, but I could fade in the outro music during that whole thing and fade out my buy and just really confuse the listeners who, if they've made it to this point in the podcast, already know what I chose to do tomorrow. I'm editing tomorrow. This is going to be after all that.
Okay.
It wasn't supposed to be that confusing.
Like, I don't know what you're planning to do tomorrow, but
edit.
If it's just editing, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, that part's the editing for the thing that we were just talking about, the crossfade and this, that, and the other thing. Anyway, all right, I'm ending the recording. Bye.
Cool, yeah.